What's going on, everybody? How you doing? All right, today we are starting another album request. This is for Rob. This is Coldplay, the album A Rush of Blood to the Head. So Coldplay, I don't have any of their albums. I never had any of their albums. I remember when they came out, when Yellow came out. I remember that, and I didn't really like that song. However, since then, I've played a bunch of their songs, including a few on this album, actually. And they are very good. They're a good band. They've got the sound. They've got many good songs. I mean, you can't really say too much bad about them. At the time when Yellow came out, I was just like, oh God, these guys suck. I didn't like them at all. And it was a little bit like Radiohead was also right there. And a lot of people liked it. So when did all that stuff come out? So these guys started in 1997. When was their first album? Parachutes? Was that their first album? No way. Really? Radiohead had already come out. I'm not saying that these two bands are like in that intensely similar or whatever, but I'm just thinking myself. Yeah, 1985. Yeah, way earlier. Okay, yeah, Kid A already was out. Jesus. See, this is for Radiohead. This is what Kid A and Amnesiac, Hell to the Thief. These three albums. In Rainbows is great also. I don't really know these two albums actually, but then there was a lot of people that were into Pablo Honey and the Bends. To me, I'm like, OK Computer obviously just broke them, really broke them. But lots of people like the Bends. I'm like, it's okay. It's fine. High and Dry, Fake Plastic Trees. It's fine. It's all right. I like this stuff. It sounds like they're on drugs. I just like that kind of music. I mean, there's other music that I like, but like if it's stuff that's like studio experimental, all that kind of thing, it's kind of like when, I first heard the Beatles, I'm hearing all that bubblegum poppy stuff and I'm like, some of it's okay. I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's a good song. Help is great. Okay, cool. Yeah. But then you start getting into their like Revolver and later Rubber Soul, right? And later, right? 64 and on, 65, 66. Then I'm like, oh yeah. They're in the studio just fucking around. I love that. Because they're experimenting, they're messing with songs and song form and different sounds and structures and stuff. It's just more interesting to me. Anyways, Coldplay. Sorry. Wow, I don't know why I thought that this was earlier, but okay, that's fine. So, A Rush of Blood to Head was their second album. Okay. And then there was this one. On this one. Fix You. Speed of Sound. Okay, so it's also really cool that they have all the same members. I think that's really cool because that's rare, right? It doesn't happen very often. It's among the reasons why Rush is such a big deal, right? Started in 1997, met at University College London, calling themselves Big Fat Noises and changing it to Starship before changing it to Coldplay. Released an EP, Safety, in 1998. Signed to Parlophone in 99. Came out with Parachutes. Yellow was huge. Rush of Blood to Head won the same accolades. Over 100 million albums sold worldwide. One of the best-selling music acts of all time. First group in Spotify history to reach 90 million monthly listeners. Most awarded artists. Record from most Brit Awards won by a band. I mean, this is all like undeniable, huge stuff, right? Huge. It's undeniable. You could say maybe you're not into them, you're not into their music, but they're still it's like, I don't like Bob Dylan, but okay, tons of people like Bob Dylan. I don't like Bob Dylan. Yeah, he's won all these awards and all this stuff, whatever. He sold a zillion albums. I don't like Bob Dylan. Anyways, I'm sure there's stuff about Bob Dylan's style that I would like or whatever, but I don't know. Some things are hard to look past. They have 3 of the 50 best-selling albums. The most UK albums chart number ones without missing the top 10. Distinction of most played group of the 21st century on British media. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame added A Rush of Blood to Head to the 200 definitive albums list and Yellow to the songs that shaped rock and roll exhibition. I'm sorry, I still don't like Yellow. I think they have way better songs. Although it does, now that I'm thinking about that song, it is very much a Coldplay song. Like, there's enough Coldplay music out there for them to have kind of like a definable sound, and kind of style. And it does. It sounds like a song of theirs. I don't know. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. There's just others that I like better, including songs that are on this album. So let's get to this album. Rush of Blood to the Head. Their second album came out in 2002. Album was produced by the band, and Ken Nelson makes greater use of the electric guitar and piano than the band's debut, Parachutes. According to the album, began after the band achieved worldwide popularity. Parachutes in the single Yellow topped the UK charts upon its first release. Certified the album 10 times platinum for its accumulated sales of 3 million units in the UK. Over 17 million units were sold worldwide. Huge. Album spawned the hits In My Place, The Scientist, and Clocks. Clocks? Do I know Clocks? That wasn't the song that I was thinking. I know I've played In My Place and The Scientist before, so I know those. But I thought there was one other one that I knew. God Put a Smile Upon Your Face was also released in select regions, but was significantly less successful in comparison. Rush of Blood has been critically acclaimed. Band received 3 Grammy Awards for the album. That's huge. For Best Alternative Album, Best Rock Performance for In My Place. In My Place for rock? I don't know. When I think of like rock performance, I'm thinking like rock. In My Place is soft. There's a bunch of this that's soft, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, but I don't know. When I think of rock, I don't think of In My Place. And a record of the year for Clocks. Clocks? Do I know Clocks? Have I heard that? Started recording Rush of Blood to the Head. Okay, Liverpool. Okay, said that once they became obsessed with recording, In My Place was among the first songs recorded for the album during this period, and the one that the band released as the album's lead single because it was a song that made them want to do a second album, kept them going, and made them think they could still write songs. Following a strange period of not really knowing what they were doing 3 months after the success of Parachutes, maybe because it just like kind of hit all at once and it was a big deal, probably. Opening track Politik was recorded 2 days following September 11. We went to an interview. Chris Martin wrote the song on 9/11. We recorded on 9/13. We were all, like everyone else, I suppose, a little confused and frightened. Yes, I get off tour and had a rest for 1 or 2 days, but then I get antsy again. I want to write songs and do things because you never know what might happen. Band wrote more than 20 songs in the months following for the album, and some of those include In My Place and Animals were performed live during their tours promoting Parachutes. Album's title was revealed through a post on the band's official website. During initial recording sessions, the Liverpool Martin and guitarist Johnny Buckland worked alone and only on weekends. Each Monday, they would present the song ideas that they had developed to their bandmates. Oh, that's I'm going to want to see that, how the writing credit breaks down. With the Rush of Blood to Head nearly completed, Martin went into the studio late one night and wrote a piano riff that he has stated just came out. The band recognized that this early version of the song that would become Clocks was special the first time Martin played it to them, reasoning that it was too late to include the song on the album. They recorded a demo. By June 2002, the band had completed A Rush of Blood to the Head, but thought their output sounded rubbish and reached an agreement with record label Parlophone to postpone the release of the album until they were completely satisfied. Subsequently, many songs were discarded because they sounded like they could have been on Parachutes. Martin has claimed that it would have been uninteresting. It would have shown that we're happy to sit back on what we'd done, and we're not. For us, it was important to progress and try to improve upon our abilities as musicians. Such ambitions put the band under strain. Sometimes practice sessions ended abruptly with one or more members of Coldplay threatening to quit. Jeez. After headlining Glastonbury Festival, Coldplay returned to the studio and worked on some tracks from the songs for number 3 CD they had produced earlier. Phil Harvey, the band's manager, heard Clocks and urged them to rework it immediately. No, you must do that song now because you're going on in the lyrics about urgency and you're talking about keeping this song back. That doesn't make sense. Okay. All right. We'll get to some of this stuff a bit later, I think. So, In My Place, Scientist, and Green Eyes. Isn't Green Eyes? That's like, honey, you are a rock for which I stand. And I came here to talk. Isn't that Green Eyes? This was this song about Gwyneth Paltrow? Didn't they, right? Didn't like Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin date? Anyways. I thought that was a backstory on that. So if this is the Green Eyes that I'm pretty sure it is, those are the songs that I know on the album. At least that I recognize that I know. I wonder if I know Clocks. It sounds like that's like sounds like that's a big album song for them. Anyways, all right, let's get to this. Coldplay. Russia, Blood to the Head. Starting with Politik. Let's do this. Bam. Piano, you really hear it, right? You hear him hitting the keys and changing. Like, that's just like room sounds. I like that. I think that's great. Makes it more intimate and real. Aggressive, but it's not heavy, you know, like it's because it's not like and they have this, right? They have this element that Coldplay has where it's like kind of like airy, floaty, right? Peace of mind and trust. Don't forget the rest of us. Give me strength, reserve control. Give me heart, give me soul. Like those kind of metallic sounds. Oh, nice change. Nice bridge. Oh. You hear how it still sounds like the same song? But it's like you're in like a whole new place with it. It's hard to write bridges like that, right? But those are like the best ones to me. I like this guitar that's over here. It's like higher guitar. It's nice. And also his vocal like tone is really nice. It blends well. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. So yeah, they have this, you know, the atmosphere stuff and the kind of like lightness. Coldplay has that, you know, that like kind of like floaty lightness. It's interesting. I feel like I haven't really heard them in this kind of, I guess, they have so many, they have a lot of songs, right? Like a lot of songs that you've heard. Like I don't have any of their albums, but I've heard a lot. I know I've heard a lot of Coldplay because they're such a popular band. Their music is out there and it's current, right? Like fairly current. I think it's cool. I mean, all the stuff that I was saying, just describing the music and what's happening and how it's happening. It's very melodic and they have nice changes. So they know how to hit those colors, right? I like that. I always like that. If the more colorful, and that doesn't mean that you need to have all the colors. It just means that like, when you're making changes, how colorful is the change, right? Right? The change from one chord to the next. Is it, you know, this is the difference between something being diatonic and not being that much new color, right? It's like basically the same color, basically, right? To my ear. It's like, okay, you just went from whatever, a 1 chord to a 3 chord. Or a 1 chord to a 6 chord or something like that. Or a 2 to a 5 or whatever it is. Where it's basically the same color. Where it'd be different if you go, if you just start adding other notes in. Instead of a minor 3, you make it a major 3. Those different kinds of things, right? You start using like a sub 5s. So that would be like 5 of 2. Or 5 of 6, or 5 of 3. So that means that a 5 of 2 would be a 6 dominant, right? So instead of, you're not going to get any of this. People that don't know theory aren't going to get any of this kind of stuff. So 5 wants to resolve down, right? 5 wants to go to 1, right? Your 5 chord wants to go to 1. So subdominants and stuff like that, like a 5 of 2 would be 6. 6, right? So you got 1 and 5, and then you have 2 and 6, and then you have 3 and 7. You have like 4 and 1 and 4, right? Different things like that. 5 and 2, right? Are these like numbers making sense to you? Does that make sense? So like a 5 of 2 would be 6 because going from the 2 up to 6 is a 5th. I'm trying to be as basic as possible. And in a major scale, the 2 chord is minor and the 6 chord's minor, but 5 of 2 making it subdominant. A dominant chord is a 5 chord is a major chord with a flat 7, right? Major meaning the third is major, not minor. 5 of 2 would make that 6 chord, which is diatonically minor, would make it major. So it would be like 6, 7, which is a dominant chord, as opposed to 6 minor 7, which is what diatonically it is. Sorry. Again, I don't talk about this stuff. I don't talk like this all the time because, first of all, you can get theory everywhere on the internet. You can go to everybody else's channel and go for it, right? So I don't talk about it all the time. Yeah, I don't talk like that all the time. But, you know, that's theory. That's what it is. Anyways, it's all over the internet. You can figure it out. It's all there. So when you're adding those different notes, right? If you have, just keeping with that example, a 6 dominant 7 going to 2, 5 of 2. If you're in C, you're adding a C sharp, right? Because the major 3 of the 6th chord is now C sharp. C sharp is not in the C scale. That's a new color. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. When you start adding that stuff in, but if you do that, your C sharp now leads into D, D being the next note. So there it is. All right. So yeah, I think this is cool. And I think it's a cool opener. I think it's cool. I think it works. Again, it's aggressive, but it's not heavy, right? That whole just that, right? It's aggressive, but it's not an assault, right? It's not aggressive. It's not heavy. It is aggressive. It's not heavy. I think you understand my distinction. I think it's cool. All right. Up next is In My Place. And yes, like I said, I've performed this song before. We'll get to this. I'll catch you then. Later.